What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. Just a quick update for you today. Some really interesting news. First one is in the hope of bringing fans back to stadiums very soon, actually. We brought you the news that Arsenal are kind of expecting to bring fans back on October the 3rd against Sheffield United at the Emirates. And now Daniel Levy is getting in on the act. There was a Premier League shareholders meeting a couple of days ago, and what's come out of that is that Tottenham hope to host a test event in front of 31,000 supporters. Daniel Levy made the proposal to the Premier League shareholders meeting, saying he hoped that 50% of the ground's capacity could be used. But then he did go on to say that it would be impossible to socially distance in such numbers, but he does believe that they could be accommodated safely, which is very interesting to hear. At the very least, though, Levy does want to look into it with the support from the government. He also previously said that he wants to explore scientific and technological solutions to pave the way for supporters to return, possibly digital health passports and smartphone applications, which is very, very interesting. The government has also been very hopeful in the return of return of fans into stadiums, and they're saying that that they could return in October, from as soon as October the 1st. And obviously Levy is the one kind of spearheading that thing with the Premier League, and I think Spurs, if anyone, are going to be one of the first to let fans back in. Obviously Daniel Levy just built this brand spanking new stadium, and it's just a shame to see it so empty, and they're going to want their revenue back from the kind of £1 billion that they spent on building the stadium. They just need fans in it desperately. So that's that. Hopefully that is good signs in terms of getting fans back into stadiums. I, for one, are dying to get back into a stadium, dying to go back to football. I've had enough of watching at home, to be honest. I just want to get into that stadium, sing some songs, and watch my team play live in the flesh. And I'm sure all of you do too. You know what I mean? It's not just me that's thinking that way. But let's move on. And what else has come out of this Premier League shareholders meeting? Chief sports reporter of the Times, Martin Ziegler, he's claimed that the Premier League have voted for 3 subs instead of 5. It wasn't really a unanimous decision, as it was 11 votes to 9 in favour of 3 subs. And you can probably tell which clubs voted for which. You know, the bigger clubs would have voted for 5 subs, and the kind of smaller clubs would have voted for 3. Personally, I think with this kind of schedule that Spurs have got on this season, you know, the sheer amount of games, I thought 5 would have been fair to kind of look at this season. But when you look at the smaller clubs, they just don't have the numbers to do that, and I think the 5 subs really does benefit the big clubs. But me, with my Tottenham hat on, thinking selfishly that I think that it should have been 5 subs. It really should have been, especially with the kind of non-stop football from now until May. It's going to be crazy. The amount of fixtures that we have is just an insane amount. But that's that. The next story is a really interesting one from Dan Kilpatrick at the Evening Standard, and he's claimed that Tottenham made an offer to Lokomotiv Plovdiv, saying that to switch the fixture from Bulgaria to Tottenham, and there has been a response from the Plovdiv owner, Hirostu Kurashki. I hope I didn't butcher that name, but he says, the quote, there were offers from Tottenham, but we do not play for money, we play for pleasure. So obviously it looks as though Tottenham might have offered the Bulgarian club a bit of wonga to come and play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but they're not interested whatsoever. They'd rather play in Bulgaria behind closed doors than in Tottenham behind closed doors, which is an interesting one, because when you look at Lokomotiv Plovdiv, a lot of these players are not going to get the chance to play at such an amazing stadium. And if I was them, I'd probably come over and play in London. I mean, we're going to beat them anyway, let's be honest. No, I'm joking. I mean, it's going to be a tough game, but I think it would have been a tougher game if there were fans in the stadium. But look, we're going to have to go out to Plovdiv and beat them, and then we're going to have to go to Macedonia or some other place in buttfuck nowhere. And then probably in the 3rd qualifying round, we're going to be away again. So it just doesn't get easier for Tottenham Hotspur. we seem to have luck against us in every single walk of way. But look, let's move on. And this one is from Matt Law of the Daily Telegraph. It's been no secret that Tottenham have been linked with Callum Wilson, the Bournemouth striker, ever since Bournemouth faced the drop, to be honest. And it remains to be seen what kind of offer we have been putting in, or what kind of offer we're looking to put in. But what's come out today is that Aston Villa have made a 15 million bid plus 5 million in add-ons for Callum Wilson. It looks as though that bid will be rejected, as Bournemouth want a 17 million fixed fee for the striker. Having a look at a 17 million fixed fee, is that really a deal that Spurs are going to be looking at for a sub-striker? Are we going to pay that much, 17 million, for a striker like Callum Wilson? I mean, if we're going to get anyone decent in, surely we're going to have to pay something around that mark. You're looking at someone like from Napoli as well, Milik. How much is he going to be? How much of a fee is he going to command? You know what I mean? I think we're going to be looking at something between 15 and 20 million to bring in a sub-striker. So is Callum Wilson our guy? I think when I'm weighing up the two strikers between Callum Wilson and Milik, obviously Callum Wilson's got that injury-prone problems. We all know he's a great striker and he's acclimatised to the Premier League. He offers something a bit different to Harry Kane. When you look at Milik, I think he has similar attributes to Harry Kane. I think our style of play wouldn't have to change too much with Milik coming into the side. I think he's a European renowned striker, international level, European level. But you know, it's always a risk with these strikers if they're going to acclimatise to the Premier League as well. So I think it's a difficult one. If I'm pushed to make a signing, whether it be Callum Wilson or Milik, I think I would go for Milik, but I think that's just because of his European pedigree. I think if we could start him in the Europa League, week in, week out, I think he'll get goals for us for sure. I think he's a good player. He's shown it everywhere he's gone. He's got goals. Callum Wilson, I just have reservations over his injury problems. So that's my 2 pence on it. Let me know in the comment section below. Who would you rather? Would you rather Milik or Callum Wilson, or would you rather someone else? Let me know in the comment section below. And what I'm going to finish off is yesterday we brought you an update telling you where all the Tottenham players will be playing on international break, and there were 2 games last night where 2 of our players were involved. The first one was Finland at home to Wales, where Wales won 1-0 with Ben Davies playing a full 90 minutes, keeping a clean sheet at that. And another interesting point in that game is Gareth Bale, who's been hot off the press in the last couple of days, talking about how he's trying to leave Real Madrid. He only managed the first 45 minutes of the game. Apparently his first half was absolutely shocking and got hauled off at half time. I'm not sure if it was a tactical decision or he just wasn't up to the fitness, but he was hauled off at half time. And then the next game that featured one of our players was Bulgaria at home to Ireland. Matt Doherty started right back in the back 4 and he played 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw out in Bulgaria. So there you have it. Those 2 players played in the international friendly or Nations League games last night for their respective countries. We spoke about Plovdiv and Tottenham trying to bring that tie back to Tottenham. We spoke about the Premier League meeting and they have voted for 3 subs instead of 5, and also Daniel Levy looking to bring fans back into the stadium with a test event, hopefully before October, that will allow 31,000 fans back into the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any comments regarding any of the news I've brought to you. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs. We are Tottenham.